Hello, welcome back to another video. For this project, I'll be using Winter King 4-ply and a 2.5mm hook. Start by making a slip knot. Insert your hook in the slip knot and we're going to make chains. What you need to take note of is that the number of chains you're making should be equivalent to the base of a normal bralette. So for me, this project is for cup A. So my chains will be equivalent to 5 inches. When you're making one for cup B, it should be 6 inches, cup C 7 inches, and cup D 8 inches. Next, make 2 more chains. Yarn over and insert your hook in the third chain from your hook and make a double crochet. So we'll continue making double crochet along the chains until you reach the end of the chains. So make another double crochet, go to the next chain, make another double crochet, do the same thing until you reach the end of your chains. I'm done with my first row. Next, chain 2, turn your work. The chain 2 is the first double crochet, so you'll skip the first stitch and go to the next and make a double crochet. I'm working on the back loop only, so we'll be making double crochet back loop. Make back loop double crochets until the end of your row, and then from here you'll continue making rows of back loop double crochets. Make more rows, and the length you'll need is your waist measurement just below your bust divided by 2 plus 6 inches. So for me, I'm making one for waist 20, so I'll need 20 inches divided by 2, which is 10, plus 6, which is 16. I finished my rows, and the length of my work is 12 inches, but it can stretch to 16 inches. Next, we're making the bust part, that is the bra cup. So you're going to make slip stitches until you reach the center of your work. Another option, you can cut your yarn from that point and join it to the center directly instead of making slip stitches to the center. This is my center. So I'll need to make the slip stitches up to that point. Next, you're going to make chains. The length of the chains should be equivalent to the distance between your nipple to below your bust. I made 13 chains. Next, you're going to yarn over and insert your hook in the third chain from your hook and make a double crochet. Continue making double crochets until you reach the stitch marker. Once you're done with your first row of double crochet, you're going to remove the stitch marker and join the cup to the waist panel. So you skip the first stitch and go to the next and make a slip stitch. Next, you're going to make 2 slip stitches in the next 2 stitches. Turn your work and continue making back loop double crochets. When starting this row, ensure that you don't make a double crochet on the slip stitch you used to join your work. When you reach the end of that row, we're going to make 5 double crochets in the same stitch. In case you're making your project using single crochets, you'll need to make only 3. If you're using half double crochets, you'll need to make 5. So for this project, let's make 5 double crochets in the same space. 4, and lastly 5. Don't forget to put your stitch marker on the third double crochet. So that will be the center of your bra cup. From here, continue making back loop double crochets until you reach the end of that row. Next, we're going to join this row to the waist panel the way we did with the previous row. So make a slip stitch on the second stitch, and then next make a slip stitch, make another slip stitch, turn your work and continue making back loop double crochets. So ensure you don't work on the slip stitch you used to join your work. This is the slip stitch I used to join my work, and now I'm going to start with the next stitch. Continue making back loop double crochets until you reach your stitch mark. Once you reach your stitch marker, make 5 double crochets in the same stitch. Remember, we are working on the back loop, so make the 5 double crochets on the back loop of the same stitch. After that, put the stitch marker on the third stitch. Continue making back loop double crochets until you reach the end of your row. When you finish that row, join your work to the waist panel the same way we've been doing. Next, you will realize that there is an imbalance. On this side, I'm having 6 stitches, and on the other side, I'm having 4 stitches, meaning this side can accommodate 3 rows and the other side can accommodate only 2. So we're going to make this other side to accommodate 2 rows. So you'll make slip stitches in 3 stitches instead of 2 so that they can balance. Turn your work and continue making back loop double crochets. Once you're done with that row, you're on the side which had 4 stitches. So you're going to slip stitch in the second stitch. Next, make a slip stitch and make another slip stitch on the final stitch. Turn your work and make back loop double crochets. Once you reach the end, slip stitch in the last stitch and you're done with your bra cup. So this is what I have. Next, you will make the cup for the other side the way we just did the first one. But for the other side, you will join your yarn to the center. You will join your yarn directly to the center of your waist panel instead of starting from the edge and making slip stitches. Next, we are going to make the strap. I already did one side, so let's work on the other side. Make a slip knot. I need to work with 9 stitches, so I'm going to count the 5 stitches in the middle plus 2 stitches on each side of the 5 stitches. So insert your hook at whatever point you want, and then insert it on the slip knot. Pull it through that space and make 2 chains. Next, you're going to make a double crochet on the back loop. Don't forget we're working on the back loop. So continue making back loop double crochets until you reach the 9th stitch. Chain 2, turn your work. The chain 2 is our first stitch, so skip 1 stitch, go to the next, make back loop double crochets until you reach the end of that row. So from here you'll continue making rows of back loop double crochets until you have your desired length. Once you're done, we're going to make the shoulder strap. So I marked 2 points for joining. Next, remove your stitch marker and ensure that your yarn is doubled. Okay, so I'm going to insert my hook in the waistband and insert it in that loop. Pull that loop through the stitch and make chains. I made 33 chains, which was equivalent to 11 inches. Next, we are going to join the chains to the bra cup. So just approximate from the center of the bra cup and join the strap using a slip stitch. Cut your yarn and pull it through. Do the same to the other side and you will be done with your bralette at this point. Don't forget to weave in your ends.